This is lesson 5.4 bubble sorting for this University of Idaho CS112 course. The plan that we're going to be doing today is that there's a large number of programs that are written to sort data. You can think of this, these are put in a large array. And an array you can think of as being like Microsoft Office's Excel or Google's Sheets or something similar to that where you're making a spreadsheet of some sort. This data needs to be sorted in order for information to be easily retrieved from it. An example that you could think of would be sales data, sorted by your employee identification number so you can get your commissions at the end of the month. Our task that we're going to be accomplishing is that we're going to set up an array of random numbers and sort them. In order to do this, we're going to need to be able to set up a data list in Scratch and use the bubble sort algorithm to help sort this data. Now, to keep things organized, we often make lists such as for groceries, assignment due dates, daily temperatures, everything like this. This is something that we as humans automatically could kind of do at this point. Probably something you were taught a little bit. And each one of those lists is for a particular type of item. An array is a list of similar data items. As you get into further late programming languages, you can know that as you can have more than one thing kind of associated with a particular item. You can think of things like names, where you could have first name, last name, and date of birth, and those would all actually fit in one array because they would all be like user information. Scratch, though, can only hold one piece, like one list of items for its data. The list data items can be accessed by the cell reference number. In Scratch, and also in Microsoft Excel and Sheets and a couple other programs like that, the first item is in position 1, the second item is in position 2, the third in position 3. It kind of makes sense a little bit. Now, the reason I brought up that there's a couple specific programs where it's 1, a lot of other programs, a lot of other programming languages, if you will, use instead position 0 as their first position. So it's just kind of important to note that, depending on your language, the first thing might be at 1 or it might be at 2, and it actually is important to recognize. All right, so let's go ahead and make a grocery list. And so the way that we're going to do this is we're going to go and click on variables in Scratch. We're going to click on Make a List, and then we're going to give it a name. Let's go with groceries. All right, let's go switch over to there now. I've already done this, but I'll delete mine. So delete groceries. So I'm going to go right here to where it says Make a List. And I'm going to call this groceries. This is going to be for all sprites. I'm going to click OK. And this is hidden just a little bit for you guys. So right here, there you go. You should be able to see it now. We have this thing that says groceries. Currently it says that it's empty. There's nothing in here. On the left, we have this plus button, and this will add items. This equals is a way for you to change its size. So you can go ahead and try clicking on the plus, and you'll see that it fills in. It has this position 1. It also has an X where you can delete it. So let's go ahead and make a few things. Let's do apples. This is a grocery list, right? So apples, bread, butter. I don't know what else is good to have on a grocery list. Peanut butter. And I don't know, one final thing. Let's do ice cream. Why not? Let's just have a good list here. Alright, so in this groceries, we have apples, bread, butter, peanut butter, and ice cream. You will notice that for the most part, actually I was going alphabetical, and then I suddenly had this ice cream. We're not going to deal with sorting this quite yet, though. What we are going to do is we're going to come over here on this left-hand side, and we're going to kind of check out these different different options that are available to us. Let's add a thing. Let's try cereal. And if I click on add, it's going to add cereal. I think that's how you spell cereal. Then I can go right here and I can try click delete one of groceries. And so let's pay attention to where this deletes. So it deleted apple. Let's try changing this number. Let's change it to number 3, which if I look at delete 3 of groceries, if I look over here, 3 is peanut butter. So let's go ahead and click on that. It deleted the peanut butter. I can also click delete all of groceries, and it's going to delete everything. Then insert, let's go ahead and insert ice cream, and click on that. Replace item 1 of groceries with thing. Well, ice cream isn't the healthiest. Let's do frozen yogurt. And so if I click that, it changes the ice cream to frozen yogurt. This one will check what is at item 1 of groceries. Notice how it has this kind of rounded side. This tells you the thing. And so it says frozen yogurt. Item number of thing in groceries. So if I type in frozen yogurt, it'll tell us that it is in position 1. We can ask how long is groceries, and say that it's 1 long. We can ask, does groceries contain, I'll just go with thing, and it's going to say false, so no, this is a Boolean statement. You can tell by these little triangles, or these little things along the side. So we got thing, let's try frozen yogurt. Let's see, I wonder if we can just do frozen. Does it contain frozen? Okay. Frozen yogurt. True. Ooh, let's try one thing. Let's make it capital T and see if it is case sensitive. Nope, not case sensitive. Alright, that's good to know. Alright. And this is the show and the hide. We can make them disappear, reappear, all that type of fun stuff. Alright, hopefully you got that. Alright. So, let's go back to here. We did these, blah, 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 blah. Alright. So now we're going to start sorting these. So data is sorted in a lot of different ways, but the overall purpose is to get a particular order so that we can access it and use it for an end purpose. There are 2 methods of sorting data. Well, there's more than 2, but the 2 that we're going to kind of talk about is bubble sorting. And this sorts data from the smallest to the largest by checking 2 items and switching them if one is greater than the other. If you can see my hand on there. And then this is repeated. So it checks these 2 and it says, is this one bigger? Yes. Okay, switch them. And then it says, okay, this is the second item and the third item, check them. Is this one bigger? Yes. Okay, switch them. And it just continues down the road, or down the line. It goes back or restarts and it checks them again. Then there's divide and conquer. Divide and conquer is a little harder to kind of conceptualize, but what it does is it divides the data into half, sorts those, and then brings them back together, and it kind of, it seems weird, but it splits things up and it is able to kind of do it kind of more piecemeal. There's a reason for this. So there's a lot of other sorting methods like I mentioned as well, especially when you start going into things like big data. That's its own special field that you can go to, especially if you go into college or stuff like that, where you can talk about how different ways of actually sorting through data efficiently. But the one that we're going to use, it's pretty straightforward. It's this bubble sort system. So we're going to work through a list of data that follows the process of a bubble sort. So we want the smallest number to be at the top and the largest to be at the bottom. So in this first pass, the red switch has been switched. So it checks, should it switch 1 and 2? Yes, it should. Okay, so we've switched 1 and 2. Should we switch 2 and 3? Yes, okay, so we switched 2 and 3. So we switch 3 and 4? Yes, okay. Should we switch 4 and 5? Yes, okay, so we sorted all those. Then we go through again. We go, should we switch 1 and 2? Well, from this, 5 is smaller than 7, so it's good. All right, so let's go on to 7. Is 7 bigger than 3? Yes. All right, switch them. And you would think that then it would go 5 and 3. Nope, it's going to continue on down the line. And so we're going to check, is 7 bigger than 8? Nope. Okay, so it's probably good. And then we're going to check again, is 8 bigger than 9? Nope, still not. Third pass, we're going to check, is 5 and 3, should they switch? Yes. Should 5 and 7? No. Should 7 and 8? No. Should 8 and 9? No. And the smallest number here has bubbled up to the top. And so in each of these passes, we switched at least one position. And it actually is a very important idea whenever we get a little bit farther into this. If we ran through the test one more time, we're not going to have to switch anything. That would indicate that we are done. And we're going to use this done test to test for the end of the sort. So let's go ahead and create a data list of unsorted numbers. Let's use 99, 14, 44, and 3. And we can tell from this that some of these are going to need to be switched. All right, so let's go ahead and jump over and do that. So I'm going to delete all this stuff. Delete. And you know what? I'm just going to straight up delete groceries. All right. So let's make a new list called data list. And so now I have this thing called data list. Bring this down a little bit for you guys to see. Get over. All right, so let's add some things. So let's do 99, 14, 44, and 3. All right. Okay. So we know that we're going to need 14 and 99 to change. And so what we need to do is let's go ahead and start coding that. So thinking about this is if 1 is bigger than 2, then we need to change them. All right, so let's go change, make this an if, and let's go grab operators, grab the greater than sign. So if something is greater than this, then do blah, blah, blah. All right, so let's go back to our list. If item 1 of, oops, that didn't go in the right spot. If item 1 of data list is greater than item 2 of data list, and you may be recognizing right now, well, hold up, we need to be able to do all of them. We're going to start small, we're going to build ourselves up from here. So if item 1 is bigger than item 2, we want them to switch. That's the first thing that we want to make happen. And whenever you're talking about programming, start small, build your way up to the more complex tasks. Don't try and build Rome in a day. All right. So if item 1 of data list is greater than item 2 of data list, I want to set. Oh no, not that one. I want to replace item 1 of data list with item 2 of data list. And then I want to replace item 2 of data list with item 1 of data list. All right. Yeah, all right. So let's go ahead and check this. And so if we did this, it should change this from 99 to 4, or this 14 and put it up to 99, and take this 99 and put it down to 14. Let's go ahead and click it. Oh. Well, what happened there? I have 14, and then I have 14 again. Now, the thing is, it actually did exactly what we told it to do. But what we have to pay attention to is the order of it doing things. So, if I put 99 back up here, what happened was, right here we said, okay, if item 1 is greater than item 2, true, it is. Replace item 1 with item 2 of our data list. All right, so item 1 of our data list is this 99. We want to replace it with item 2. And so you can think of this as going 14. Okay. Oops, did not do that. Then it says replace item 2 of our data list with item 1 of our data list. Item 1 is 14, so item 2 is going to be 14. I keep hitting enter. That's what happened. It didn't actually store, it doesn't happen simultaneously. It happens one line at a time. So what we need to introduce is a temporary variable. This is a variable that is that's only used for this brief moment in time and then is kind of just set by the side. Now, whenever you go into other programming languages like this, you can have an actual little variable inside of this that disappears once this is done. Scratch doesn't offer that option, but we're going to do something similar. All right. So we're going to go up here. We're going to say make a variable, and we're going to call it temp because it's a temporary variable and it's for all sprites. All right. So right down here, if item 1 is greater than item 2, we're going to set our temporary variable, and I'm just going to delete my variable that we don't have it in there. So I'm going to set my temporary variable to be item 1 of our data list, because that's the thing that disappeared, right? Was that item 1? Let's change this to 99. And so replace item 1 of data list with item 2 of data list. Replace item 2 of data list with, not with item 1 anymore. We want it to be the temporary variable. All right, so let's see what happens when you do this. Hey, it switched those 2 spots. All right, I'm going to switch these back around so that we can see other changes. All right, so it did it once. And if I do it multiple times, so if I click it once, click it twice, it's going to only be checking these 2 each time. It's only going to check item 1 and item 2. I don't want that. What I want it to do is I want it to run through, and then I want it to kind of increase everything by 1, and then go through. So, all right, looking at all of these options, I think I might have to make another variable. Let's make a new variable called POS, standing for position. So I'm going to make a variable called position for all sprites. Okay. And at the very top of this, we're going to set position to be 1. And so we're going to run through this, and it will set position to 1, and we're going to put this inside a nice little loop system. So go here to control. We're going to grab this repeat until, drag it into place, and we're going to repeat this until, let's see, we have the length of our, oops, no, I want to repeat this, not until, sorry. We want to repeat this a number of times. The number of times that we want to repeat this is going to be a little subtraction. And so we want to do it, so when it happens here, 1, so 1 and 2, that's 1, 2 and 3, that's 2, 3 and 4, that's 3 times. We want it to happen 3 times. If we make this bigger, we want it to happen more. So we're going to make this a little more dynamic. So I'm going to say the length of this data list is 4, so we want it just 1 less times. So go to my variables, grab length of data list, put it in the minus thing on the left hand side, grab a little minus, put a 1, and it should happen this many times. Now, I kind of introduced this a little bit, but set the position of 1, repeat this 3 times now. For item 1 of data, if item 1 of data list is greater than item 2 of data list, then set our temporary variable to be this, replace some stuff, and then what we need to do is we need it to, as it loops back around, we need to change the position. So right now it's checking 1 and 2, so our position is currently 1. We want that to change. So we want to change our position by 1. So now when it comes back up to the top, it's going to be 2, and then it's going to be 3. And now we need to kind of drop some stuff in here. So everywhere that there's a 1 that has to do with like the item number, I'm going to change that to position. So position, 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 that's all of those. And then everything for item 2 is going to be with a +1 on it. +1, +1, and +1. Now I'm going to go grab that position again. I'm going to drop those in there. This goes here. This goes here. And this goes here. All right. So right now I have it set up so that set position 1, whenever we start this, repeat the length of the data list -1, so it's going to repeat 3 times. If item, right now it's position 1, so item 1 of data list is greater than item position, which is currently 1 + 1, so that's 2 of data list, then we're going to set our temp value to be the position. We're going to replace the position with item position +1, replace item position with 1 +1 with that temporary variable, and then we're going to change our position by 1. So now if I do this, I have to click on this. If I click on this, it's going to go through once and sort everything through. So we're going to see this 99 made it all the way to the bottom, but it didn't restart and do it again. So what we need to do is we need to make a test to say, hey, should we run this again? And so the way that we're going to do that is we're going to go over to control, and we're going to do a repeat until. So I'm going to grab this repeat until, and so we're going to repeat it until something specific happens. What we're going to do is we're going to make a variable called done, and we're going to see is if done is equal to 1, which is a lot of times used as a true variable. So if it is done, then we're not going to do this again. So we're going to repeat this until done is equal to 1. So let's go make a variable called done, D-O-N-E, okay, and so repeat until done equals 1. Now, at the very beginning of this, we need to set done to be equal to 0, so then it can enter into this loop and start doing its thing. Now, how do we know if it's done or not? Well, the way that we know that it's done is that it doesn't make any changes. If nothing has changed, then that means that we're done. So if anything is changed, it shouldn't be done. So at the very beginning, we're going to give it the benefit of the doubt and say that, hey, you know what? It's going to be done. If we run through this whole thing and nothing changes, we're done. With that, we need to give it a place where, hey, nope, we didn't make a change, so we have to go back and start again. And so the way we do that is we grab the set done to 0. And what this is going to do is if we make a change, because this is indicating that a change is made, we're going to set done to 0, saying, hey, we made a change, we need to check everything again. So if I reset this up, so 99, 14, 3, and 44, sure. If I click on this, it runs through and it actually sorts everything from least to greatest. Awesome. All right, so let's go ahead and make a little green flag here. The green flag is clicked. Boop, done that. So the only other things that I kind of think about is I want a way in order to make a random data list, because I don't want to have to go through and change these numbers over and over and over again. So I'm going to go over here to my variables. We're going to make it so it deletes everything. And then we're going to add some random numbers. So I'm going to go to operators, pick a random number between 1 and 100. You can make this whatever you wanted to if you want. And then we could duplicate this 10 times to make it so it does 10 things. There's a more efficient way. If I go into here and grab this repeat 10 and drop it right in here, it's going to delete all of them and make this work. And so now I can click this green flag and everything's going to be sorted. All right, I can take all this, I can put it at the very top, so every time I click the green flag, it's going to make a new set of random numbers and sort them from least to greatest. All right, this is the basics of what you guys are going to do here. There is a little extra task that you have to try and figure out whenever for the assignment, but hopefully this gets you through it. Have a good one.